Is blindness a barrier? No.
Is deafness a barrier? No.
Are mobility, learning, cognitive disabilities, speech impairments and others, or even a combination of them, barriers? No way. Lack of accessibility is.
Welcome to Web Accessibility for All.
Follow the blind. This journey starts now.
Hey, can you make that button respond when I say, click Save Profile?
Should already do that. Try it again.
Click Save Profile.
Works fine when I click it.
Yeah, but I'm not clicking, I'm talking.
Hey team, quick check. Why is the profile still not saving?
It is saving.
Not when I say it isn't.
Wait, so the button listens now?
No, it doesn't. That's the problem.
Okay, so we're arguing with a button?
Technically, yes.
And it's winning.
Mismatched labels aren't just a minor bug, but real barriers for real users. In this episode, we'll break down what accessible names really are, common pitfalls, and how professional teams handle them. Ariel here, and welcome back to Web Accessibility for All.
What is an accessible name?
You know when a screen reader says
search button
or
sign in link.
That short phrase, the one it announces to describe what something is, comes from what's called accessible name. It's not a single thing you type somewhere. It's more like a detective story. The browser looks at all the clues you leave in your code. Maybe a label, maybe some aria attributes, maybe even text inside an element, and it figures out what the most meaningful name must be. That process is called accessible name and description computation.
How browsers compute the name?
The browser doesn't just grab the first thing it sees. It follows a strict hierarchy. First, it checks whether the element points to another element using aria-labelledby, the top priority because it's an explicit reference.
Hey browser, use this element's text as my name.
If that's not there, it looks for aria-label, which is like giving the name directly in the attribute. Sort of, just trust me, call it this. Next comes whatever the HTML itself provides. For example, a label tied to an input field, or even the text between the opening and closing tags of the button. If none of that works, the browser might fall back to the title attribute. And if there's still nothing to work with, then assistive technologies might just announce the element's role, or worse, nothing at all. The accessibility name looks like rocket science at first, but once you break it down, it becomes predictable and testable.
Why developers must understand it?
A front-end developer should care deeply about accessible name calculation, because this is where intent meets impact. It's the silent layer that determines whether your interface speaks the right words to a screen reader or voice control user.
1. The accessible name is what users hear.
You can design the most beautiful button with perfect spacing, but if the accessible name ends as
button
unlabeled, that control is invisible for some users.
2 small changes can break it.
The accessible name is fragile. Change a class name, move a label. You might override a perfectly valid native label or create duplicates. And the worst part, it won't show in Chrome's UI, and no console warning will tell you. But for a screen reader user, your button suddenly stops talking.
3 aria, helper or troublemaker.
Aria attributes look powerful, but they override native HTML. If you misuse them, you can silence the element real voice.
4 names affect testing and automation.
Accessible names aren't just for screen reader and voice control software anymore. They influence how automated testing tools like Playwright identify elements.
Get by role left paren, button, left brace name colon, save right brace right paren.
If your accessible name is wrong, your tests will fail. Or worse, pass in something that is inaccessible.
When it fails, real-world example.
Why this matters? Let's see what happens when these issues hit real users in the wild. Generic or outdated accessible names in dynamic content break comprehension. Screen reader users may miss critical information if alerts aren't correctly labeled. Voice commands may fail because the name doesn't match what the user expects. So, whether it is a notification pop-up, a live alert, or a dynamically updated button, accessible names are what users rely on to navigate and act.
Common developer pitfalls.
Let's talk about the traps developers often fall into.
1 mixing aria-label and aria-labelledby.
Aria-label is like giving your element a direct nickname. You write the name directly, and it overrides any visible text, which is perfect for icon-only buttons. Aria-labelledby is like saying,
Just read that headline over there.
You point to another element that already has text.
Less h2. ID equals quote section dash title quote greater. Profile settings. Less slash h2 greater. Blank. Less section. aria-labelledby equals quote section dash title quote greater.
Screen reader announces.
Profile settings.
You can even reference multiple elements, and assistive technology will concatenate them. Developers also sometimes confuse aria-label with aria-described-by. Remember, the name is the short label, while the description is for longer, supplementary hints.
Key takeaway.
Use one or the other, but never both on the same element. If both are present, only aria-label will be used, which can lead to unexpected results.
2 no clear methodology.
Without a documented process, teams end up with random aria-label usage and inconsistent phrasing across locales.
Key gotchas developers should know.
Aria-labelledby concatenation order matters. If you pass multiple IDs, their order is used. Unexpected concatenation equals confusing label. Reference to hidden nodes are ignored. If you aria-labeled by an element that has display none or aria hidden true, that text often won't be used. Empty strings are meaningful. Aria-label equals an empty string intentionally produce no accessible name, which means hide it from assistive tech, so use with care. CSS-generated content is not part of the DOM, is not generally included in accessible name computation. Placeholder is not a substitute for label. Placeholder text is transient and not a reliable accessible name. IDs must be unique and stable. Aria-labeled by depends on those IDs existing and not changing, so trust on the accessibility tree.
How professional teams handle it.
1. Cross-functional testing.
Accessibility isn't just a dev problem. It's dev plus QA plus content plus design. QA tests with screen readers and voice control to ensure the computed name matches the visible label.
2. Centralized component libraries.
Teams maintain shared UI components with built-in accessible name props. Example, a primary button component always requires a label or an aria label. Benefits: prevents random aria label usage and keep names consistent across the app.
3. Automated validation.
CI and CD pipelines can check presence of aria labels on interactive elements and correct ID references for aria-labeled by. Use tools like Axe, Lighthouse, Accessibility Insights, or custom scripts.
4. Content-first approach.
Copywriters provide both visible text and corresponding aria labels for each locale. This ensures updates don't break accessible names when the UI is translated.
5. Documented naming conventions.
Teams agree on when to use aria-label or aria-labelledby. ID naming rules for referenceable labels, and component props for dynamic content.
Wrapping up, helping every element find its voice.
Let's step back for a moment. Every element on a web page has to introduce itself. They are the interface for millions of users. Some do it proudly, saying,
"Hi, I'm the search button."
Others stutter or stay silent, unsure who they are. That's where the accessible name comes in. It's how elements find their voice. That's all for today, my friend. I hope this episode helped you understand why accessible names aren't just labels on a page. As always, keep building interfaces everyone can use. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today. Subscribe for a new challenge next week. And don't be shy. Leave us a review or ask your accessibility questions online. See you next week for another episode of Web Accessibility for All.